Welcome once again, and thank you for joining us. This is News Tonight, and my name is Patricia Lukoma Mpango. Now, straight away into the bulletin, President Yoweri Museveni, who is also the Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces, has given a lecture this afternoon to 32 Zimbabwean soldiers at State House Entebbe. In his lecture, he emphasized the 4 principles of the national resistance movement on prosperity. He informed the course participants that these principles are what Africa needs to achieve prosperity without relying on external aid.
Patriotism is actually an enemy of your tribe first and foremost, because I'm from your tribe. Support me.
All in all, it's consisted of 72 students, and it was divided into 4 groups. One group is the one which is here visiting Uganda. The other group is visiting Cote d'Ivoire. The other one Equatorial Guinea, and the other one is in Tanzania. Thank you, sir.
The good thing is who will buy what you produce sustainably? Uganda. So, because they are asleep, why do you have to eat food from Ukraine? Many of you are refugees from here who are comfortable, and you die peacefully in your to go somewhere and spend the night there. 800 million liters. So the supply production is now like maybe 700,000 tons. There is no market. So cement, steel products, everything for our prosperity. What do we call that? We call it Pan-Africanism.
Brought to us in the form of aid with the conditions which are un-African, in the form of maybe homosexuality. Thank you, Excellency.
Africa can buy what East Africa. But there is the second mission, historical mission, was strategic security. Because if you solve the problem of wealth, the problem of prosperity, they give you conditions because you are not prosperous. That's how they give you conditions. They give you conditions because you are not able. Here, they try to give us conditions, but we ignore them. Because Uganda will manage with or without aid. We don't have, they cut something. I don't even remember what they were trying to do. Then they said they had removed us from the list of AGOA. You know AGOA? One thing. So it's not strength. We have strength. At that time, our strength was ours, plus the support we were getting from the socialist countries. The weapons were coming from China, from Soviet Union. So the first issue is to deal with issues of prosperity, which you must handle correctly. If you handle it correctly, there is no way. If Uganda doesn't need anything the only thing we need from outside now is petroleum. But soon we shall be having our own petroleum. We shall be exploiting our. So we really need nothing except our African brothers.
Now, the Uganda Police Force has clarified the allegations of theft of an official car for the Inspector General of Police. In a press statement, police spokesperson ACP Roshoke Kituma labeled the information as false and misleading, affirming that the IGP's official vehicle remains secure. However, he did confirm that the theft of a police single cabin pickup truck and noted that investigations are ongoing.
The police force firmly asserts that this information is both inaccurate and exaggerated. The IGP's official vehicle remains secure and has not been compromised. The vehicle involved in the reported theft is not the official car of the IGP. What transpired was the theft of a police single cabin pickup registered as UP 00135, which operates as a service van. Following this incident, a comprehensive investigation was initiated, resulting in the recovery of the stolen car and the arrest of a suspect. The investigation is ongoing and additional details will be provided at an appropriate time. The Uganda Police Force will continue to keep the public informed of any developments related to this case.
Now, citizens from the East African Community EAC member states have been urged to embrace the idea of concept of the integration of the East African Community, a dream of the late Julius Kambarage Nyerere, one of the founding fathers of the East African Community. This was relayed by the current and former representatives of the East African Legislative Assembly, Major General retired Mugisha Muntu and James Kakoza, respectively.
As Pan-Africanists prepare to celebrate 25 years since the revival of the East African Community and the life and legacy of the late Julius Kambarage Nyerere with a special visit to his ancestral home in Butiama, Tanzania, the president of Alliance for National Transformation and also former EALA representative Major General retired Mugisha Muntu shared moments about the late Nyerere's legacy.
Julius Kambarage Nyerere left a positive legacy. A legacy that needs to be celebrated, a legacy that should enable those who are interested in governance, not only in this region but on the African continent, to copy.
Even when the East African Community was formed on the integration and rationalization of a common currency, common market and same political ideologies among the member states, Mugisha Muntu asserts that this hasn't materialized.
When you integrate an economy, and it is that huge, the economic potential that there is would lead to creation of jobs, would lead to industrialization, would lead to investments, unless we focus on one, growing the economies in the individual countries, but also integrating the economies of the countries, in this case 8, for a larger market.
He, however, wasn't hesitant to challenge the delays in the integration process.
Mindset at the political leadership in all the countries. Because the business of government ordinarily is to invest or create an environment in which services are delivered to people. Whether the political elite are part of the leadership at the regional level or not. That's the knot that has to be untied. And it cannot be untied until we get leaders in the political elite of all these countries who understand the benefit of integration from the perspective of the citizen and the countries. Then that knot will have been broken. Before that, it will just simply be stories, as I notice now.
With the rampant economic protests arising from unfriendly tax policies and laws among the 3 original East African member states, and the trade imbalances despite the new trade policies, the current legislator at EALA, James Kakoza, reviewed EALA's interventions.
There is what we call sovereignty. Actually, in the treaty, there is where a president finds a hiccup, he can call his colleagues. He sits with the heads of summit to discuss the internal mechanisms. This survives on contributions from partner states. Others are contributing and others are not contributing. We had forwarded a solution that anybody accessing within the East African community, they must be at source. You must contribute $1 to avoid an alternative mechanism of financing.
The legacy of the late Nyerere will be commemorated under the theme.
As young people from the East African community, we sat down and came up with an idea that as the process takes place, we need to reflect on the enduring legacy and the values of Mwalimu Nyerere.
And in court, Entebbe Grade 1 Magistrates Court has remanded Reverend Father Dominic Kalenga to Kigo Government Prison up to the 26th of August 2024 over 2 counts of murder and attempted murder. Alinga appeared before the Entebbe Grade 1 Magistrate Lilian Mazimwe for mention of charges against him, but was not granted permission to say anything since the alleged offences can only be tried before the High Court.
This one.
Now, Lieutenant General Peter Elwelo has met with security officials, leaders, technocrats from the 9 districts and 2 municipalities of Karamoja sub-region. During the meeting, General Elwelo urged the leaders to support him in his assignment of monitoring government-funded projects in Teso and Karamoja sub-regions.
On 10th July, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni appointed Lieutenant General Peter Elwelo as the Senior Presidential Advisor on Teso and Karamoja affairs. Prior to his assignment in the region, Elwelo convened a meeting with leaders of security agencies and technocrats from the 9 districts and municipalities in Karamoja sub-region. Elwelo's appointment to oversee some projects in the region arose from the President's dismay over conduct of members of Parliament who fronted facilitation.
I told them that to hell with facilitation. If you can not think about your people, the station they are in, and you are thinking of how to reach them when it's actually your people, then it is unfortunate.
In his meeting with the leaders, Elwelo named his assignment as Teso Karamoja Governance Monitoring Mechanism, comparing the Karimojong to Israelites who refused to listen to God.
Governance Monitoring Mechanism. And I have some objectives that I put forward. 1, to monitor and assess all government programs to ensure that they are implemented as effectively and efficiently as planned and envisaged.
Elwelo explained the core values of his assignment in the region.
I'm not going to do anybody's work, but I'll make sure everybody does his or her work with due diligence, humility, professionalism, and commitment. Anybody paid by the government of Uganda and is committed to his work, to the people, will be directed to step aside, and he goes and looks after his private property.
He, however, asked technocrats and leaders to prepare all the accountability reports on all the funds released for projects in respective districts. Elwelo noted that his assignment is aimed at promoting watchman approach and stop the accuser approach, further calling upon area leaders to support him in his endeavor.
Put our problems here, and let us stop accuser approach. Let us promote watchman approach. Let us, when we detect something, stop it before we do post-mortem.
Some of the area leaders, led by Felix Mark Luchale, expressed concern over returning the money to the treasury.
When it comes to the 15th of June, and this makes money get back. And what we get down here is the districts don't have the absorption capacity. We have the absorption capacity, but at the time, the system gets locked up, and we cannot invoice, we cannot clean the LPOs center. You have invoiced, you have done everything, but the center does not pick. Like last financial year, most of the payments crossed over the financial year. No explanation.
The meeting was also attended by, among others, Minister for Karamoja Affairs Peter Lukoma, officials from the UPDF, police, ISO, prisons, religious leaders, and 3rd Division area leaders.
To solve a lot of our problems, and I'm very confident that you will.
Ugandan National Roads Authority UNRA has clarified on the delays of the construction of roads, especially the connection routes. UNRA spokesperson Alan Sempeba says the key issue that caused the delays was mainly financial constraints, compensation of project affected persons, and the reduction in technical team.
National Roads Authority has a number of road construction and maintenance projects ongoing and others pending completion across the country. In Kampala Metropolitan in particular are projects like maintenance of Chalwajala, Chira, Kasanga, Timatuga Road, which is currently ongoing. Others include connection roads like the Bombo and Jinja Highway, Nakauka Masaka Road and Busega Mpiji, among others. These also include improvement of some key junctions to enhance traffic flow within and around Kampala and Wakiso district. The projects are all funded by the government of Uganda. UNRA spokesperson Alan Sempeba clarified on the delays of some projects, citing financial constraints, land acquisition and reduction in the size of the technical team.
The COVID-19 pandemic a few years ago, it affected the whole building and construction sector, by the way. What that meant that we had to scale down on operations, we had to encamp workers, and we were working with only skeletal staff. That also delayed works. That's why you see that some of the projects like Najana Kubi Busabala, Kiraka Sanga Timatuga, we are now taking a steady pace, but we've delayed a bit, and we acknowledge the delays. You know, the other delay has been because of the funding. We've not had adequate funding from government.
He says the authority is up to ensure that the projects are completed on time and are at the international standards amidst tight funding. This was during the 3rd Uganda Buildcom International Expo that brought together a number of exhibitors from across the construction sector, where UNRA is taking part.
So we are happy that the country is a construction site, and now that also underpins the reason why we are here today.
The 3rd Uganda Buildcom International Expo is the leading international exhibition in Uganda focused on the building and the construction industry. The expo brought together the industry professionals and stakeholders to converge and explore the latest trends, innovation and opportunities in the building and construction sector.
PVC tiles are very eco-friendly. They sit into the green initiative of today's sustainable world. They are reusable and recyclable. We actually manufacture them partially using recycled plastic.
David Basil, a young entrepreneur, is one of those who ventured into manufacture of eco-friendly tiles using recycled plastic. Under Modern Floors company, Basil has plans to partner with the Ministry of Environment to save the ecosystem and also partner with the youth for business growth.
We also plead to the authorities such as the Ministry of Environment. We can always have a sit down and definitely partner and introduce this eco-friendly flooring, which in the long term goes to save the environment and the world as a whole.
Shibam Uganda, the manufacturers of glass and aluminium products, believe that using aluminium for construction will solve the health and environmental issues that are negatively affecting the country.
Glass shower cabin to balcony glasses, glass curtain wall, glass office partitioning.
Uganda Build Com exhibition, expected to end on Saturday, has been held under the theme Building the Future Together, showcasing a commitment to sustainable development and collaboration within the construction industry. Susan Naonga reporting for EBC TV.
Now, FIDA Uganda has expressed the need to enforce laws aimed at prohibiting and punishing those involved in spreading pornographic material on social media and other digital platforms. This was communicated during the National Youth Symposium that took place in Kampala.
Expose women to violence.
According to a recent study research conducted by Empowering Women and Advancing Human Rights FIDA Uganda on online gender-based violence in Uganda, statistics indicate that at least 62.7% of the respondents had experienced some kind of online violence against them, and 84% of the respondents reported that they knew someone that had experienced online violence. It has been estimated that over 736 million women globally have experienced physical or sexual intimate pattern violence, non-pattern sexual violence, or both, often influenced by technology. It's against this backdrop that FIDA Uganda decided to engage youths in the National Youth Symposium, aimed at teaching them about the dangers of online violence and how they can avoid such materials via social media.
Especially people that have been in relationships before that stalk each other to the point of murder, right? And that is how huge this problem is, that sometimes we look at it as an online problem, but it crosses into our offline lives. A lot of this is targeted and it's gendered, and we are cognizant of that through the initiatives that we are undertaking.
Doxing, where someone shares your private information with people. It could be sharing of intimate partner photos. You've seen nudes go around, and unfortunately sometimes it is the victims that are blamed.
Lawyer Elizabeth Kemigisha from FIDA Uganda expressed the need to enforce the existing laws that guide the use of social media, especially to perpetrators who spread pornographic material.
I would like to recognize that the government of Uganda has recognized this as a problem, and there's been policy reform, the Anti-Pornography Act, the Computer Misuse Act. We do believe that the Sexual Offences Bill also continues to be another opportunity through which we can be able to address online based violence or technology-assisted violence.
So it is a clarion call to all of us in an individual basis first to make sure that our experience of technology is better.
The symposium held in Kampala was attended by youths from different parts of the country, especially university students and victims of online violence.
And I think the best way we can overcome this is creating conversations. Like today when we are having this symposium, let's come together. When you're out there and you're seeing it's happening, please don't share that comment. If it's an ugly comment, a comment that is attacking a woman, fellow women, why even sharing that comment?
To the things we communicate online. Are we perpetuating sexual harassment? Are we, soliciting nudes in these platforms? It is very important for us to check our ethics.
The Permanent Secretary and Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Development, David Agrichibenge, was the chief guest at the symposium. He reviewed government's move towards addressing the issue at hand.
There are some of these that are built around myths and misconceptions. But where you cross the line as far as those risks are concerned, for me, those would be cultures that are obsolete and that we need to discuss. Okay. But this is debatable because it is a matter that you will have to discuss based on the cultures that promote those kind of practices. If there is no value addition, why would you teach something that does not add value?
Following this symposium, FIDA Uganda is to traverse different parts of the country, engaging youths over the dangers of online violence. Deborah Namamonde, Viola Nasubuga, UBC News.
Now, police in Kabiramaido district has arrested a former employee who was demanding his pension. Arthur Angona, who arrived at the district headquarters partially closed to inquire why his name was removed from the list of pensioners, was apprehended by both uniformed and plainclothes officers while being interviewed on camera. During the incident, our reporter Joseph Okol was also assaulted for refusing to surrender the camera.
After serving for over 30 years as a secondary school biology and physics teacher in Kaberamaido district, Arthur Akora is struggling to get his pension.
I want my money. I work for 31 years. I want my money. Today you kill me here.
Akora stormed the district headquarters half-dressed, demanding to know why his name was removed from the list of pensioners.
I was deleted in September last year. I went to office of the Auditor General. They said they don't delete people. And by the time I was deleted, they're not there giving that information to what? To the parliament. But Kaberamaido deleted me.
He insisted that he has been humiliated since his retirement due to lack of necessary documents to access his pension, despite having them.
Then you come and fool me here, talking that I don't have documents. Are these from here? Are they analysts of who?
Do you have documents?
Pack of documents. Eh? When I went there, they said they don't delete people. They give that report to the parliament. And by the time I was deleted, they are not even giving that report to the parliament.
He also cited alleged corruption in the payment process, noting that some of the employees who recently retired have already received their pension, while he has been left out.
Take for example, why was a teacher who retired in January not paid up to now? There's somebody who retired in April was paid. Is that corruption? Isn't that corruption?
When Akora tried to voice his concern at the district headquarters, he was brutally silenced when police arrested him and whisked him away to an unknown location. David Otabong, the district police commander, confirmed the incident and assured the public that the culprits will be brought to book.
Why that person come to my office to complain over that? Because if that was the issue, really, that was not proper. If he was assaulted, let me interact with these officers and they get to hear their side.
In the course of all this, our reporter Joseph Okol was assaulted and injured in the incident and is currently receiving treatment at Soroti Regional Referral Hospital in eastern Uganda.
Now, head teachers from government schools have expressed concerns over the ongoing salary enhancement issues for science teachers in administrative roles. They are dissatisfied with the current salary adjustments, particularly the exclusion of science teachers.
Addressing journalists in Kampala, Godfrey Birungi, head teacher of Mbarara Secondary School, noted that while science teachers' salaries were enhanced following President Museveni's directive, school administrators who are also science educators were unfairly left out.
Opting to go to the ministry and request to be demoted. Yeah. Why? Because there is no sense for being a head teacher earning 2 million and the person you are supervising is earning 4 million, and yet you are of the same qualification.
Head teacher warned that this pay structure might discourage young science teachers from pursuing leadership roles in the future.
Now, we are thinking possibly there is an intention with the technocrats to get rid of scientists in management positions. We are thinking, and it's possibly true. From the beginning of next term, as he called upon all the scientists in the secondary education, the teachers and the science administrators, please, we shall move forward, absent ourselves from teaching, to lay down tools from the administrative work. Possibly some teachers will be picked to take up those tasks.
The chairperson of Uganda Professional Science Teachers Union, APSTO, Elong Vicent, emphasized that marginalizing science head teachers and deputies is both unfair and counterproductive to improving education in Uganda.
Because we have also got outcry from science teachers
especially this one who are being promoted. The newly Minister of Education has issued appointment letter for so many science teachers promoted to deputyship, and all of them have refused to pick the appointment letter because of that crisis. Sincerely, there is a crisis. There is a very big crisis in that sector. So we are saying that the science teachers all, just like the medic has always done it, this time they say they are coming in solidarity.
He mentioned that the union had written to the Minister of Public Service and the First Lady, who is also the Minister for Education.
And we have agreed with them that they should go back and do their work in their respective workstations to allow the union to continue negotiations with government through Minister of Public Service and Minister of Education and Minister of Finance to ensure that this matter is resolved without causing trouble to our learners and the education sector in general. In case this matter is not handled within the next few weeks, then this is likely to affect the teaching of sciences in the next term. We are therefore requesting the Minister of Public Service through the Honorable Minister Mululi Mukasa to handle this matter with the urgency it deserves.
Teachers warned that if these salary discrepancies aren't addressed, it could demoralize science educators and deter future leaders in education. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
The UN World Food Programme has organized an inaugural meeting of the National Working Group on Schools Feeding. This initiative aims to address food security and improve nutrition of school children across the country.
The National Working Group on School Feeding brings together key stakeholders from the government, education institutions, and non-government organizations. The group's primary goal is to develop and implement strategies that ensure every child in a school receives nutritious meals.
By coming together today, we reaffirm our commitment and dedication to this commitment and to the well-being of the children of this country. I'm pleased to inform you that the ministry is also committed to finalizing the draft of the National School Feeding Policy, and this has been discussed here already. This policy will serve as a blueprint for our efforts, providing a clear framework for action and ensuring that our initiatives are sustainable, they are equitable, and they are effective. I appeal to each one of you, each one of us, to double our efforts in supporting the design and implementation of the school feeding program.
The World Food Programme's effort through this working group are expected to significantly enhance school feeding programs nationwide, contributing to the broader goals of improving education and reducing hunger.
The World Food Programme provides school meals to around 250,000 children in Karamoja. We want to see that one expanded throughout the country, and we are very much happy that the government has taken this step in launching that National Working Group on School Meals program. We achieve this will be a bigger area that will be focusing, and hopefully at some stage it will reach to many schools that who are not now benefiting from the school meals programs.
The World Food Programme's initiative is basically for the potential impact on school children's nutrition and education. Robert Katamba, UBC News.
And in the area of clean energy, Rexbar, the company managing Royal Markets under the reign of His Royal Majesty, the Kabaka of Buganda, Ronald Muwenda Mutebi II, has teamed up with Detru Energy to introduce environmentally sustainable technologies aimed at revolutionizing waste management and cooking practices across the nation.
Assistant Chief Executive Officer of Rexbar, Mutebi Brian Mobiru, highlighted the company's commitment to sustainability by introducing two key innovations.
We have launched the energy cooking stoves, and secondly, we have communicated that we wish to manage the garbage ourselves. As opposed to using charcoal, solid charcoal, we are going to turn our garbage into briquettes so we can replace the charcoal and the firewood with briquettes made out of our own organic waste.
The launch of energy-efficient cooking stoves designed to reduce reliance on traditional fuels like charcoal and firewood is timely.
And our role here is to make sure that we promote this technology to the end users, who are the ladies, because those are the number one consumers of these technologies. And one unique thing is about these technologies, we partnered with Rexba Energy, Rexba Limited, as the management for the Kabaka markets. So we saw it very important. They have the population, they have the markets, and we'll have this campaign in all the 8 markets under Rexba.
Mobiru says the stoves are a crucial component of the Clean Cooking campaign, which targets reducing carbon emissions and improving air quality in households across the royal markets. Another innovation involves transforming organic waste into briquettes, a sustainable alternative to charcoal.
We are promoting higher tier cook stoves, that is for charcoal, briquettes and firewood, including electricity, those are EPCs. And our role here is to provide most effective and efficient technologies. One, to improve on the livelihood of our end users, who are the ladies, for this case, most of those are end users, to have smart technologies that are smokeless, that can save a lot of energy, up to 60%, 70%, and also to save on, to also improve on their livelihood, that in terms of the finance.
This initiative is expected to significantly decrease deforestation rates and reduce the carbon footprint of the royal markets. Rexba plans to leverage its extensive database of over 5,000 vendors to ensure widespread adoption of these new technologies. While Rexba and Ditro Energy are committed to driving this initiative at a local level, they are also calling on the central government to support their efforts. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Now talk about Lango Paramount Chief. The Paramount Chief-elect of Lango has called upon the office of the President to translate President Museveni's messages into different local languages to benefit the rural citizen. Dr. Engineer Moses Michael Dongo Akune said President has always issued life-saving messages and transformative messages, but the local people fail to grasp
those messages in Lebanon and use it to educate our people. A simple message like 4-acre farm, 4-acre. Very simple message, but it is a lethal weapon in fighting poverty. Some of us survived HIV at university because of messages from Yoweri Museveni, because he addressed us students so many times. Hate Museveni, like Museveni, but one thing you don't take away from that man, his messages are spot on.
While meeting the RDCs on Friday ahead of his coronation in November, the Paramount Chief-elect raised a number of pertinent issues with the security heads in the region.
One of the biggest enemies of our people is poverty. And of course, when we know each other, then we should agree to devise strategies principally towards socio-economic transformation of our people. Poverty is leading to HIV explosion, such as in Apache, we are hearing now it's 7.2%. Poverty is a reason for wives deserting marriages.
The institution is upbeat towards a partnership geared towards transforming lives.
We want to work with you. Make government be felt in the communities.
And I want to encourage my colleagues, the RDCs who are in our sub-region, going forward, unless otherwise, let us give a total support to the current elected leadership.
The art of leadership is how you lift up the losers and transform them into fellow winners. Help me with that. There is no need for us to fight for leadership at the cultural level in Lango.
Okune said fortune seekers in the region have now taken advantage to manipulate people because of the high levels of poverty.
In the names of spiritual healers.
Government is currently implementing several initiatives aimed at moving people to the money economy. The RDCs, represented by the Deputy Dean of RDCs in the country, rallied cultural leaders to join government in empowering their subjects.
This is a team we can work with to ensure that they support us. And this meeting is again another level of a launch pad through which we can try and ensure that the PDM program, IMIOGA, and any other government programs that come to their respective areas succeeds.
Lango tribe is among the 6 biggest communities in the country with a population of about 2.3 million people. President Museveni is expected to meet all the cultural leaders in Uganda in September this year over issues relating to poverty reduction. The first official coronation of the Lango Paramount Chief is slated for 2nd November 2024. Eddie Olwa, UBC News.
Now over to Bulisa district now, where the news from there is about a significant land dispute involving allegations, illegal evictions, torture and deprivation of rights of residents by powerful individuals, including businessman Kahwa, for instance. Residents from various sub-counties, including Butiaba, Bulisa, Ngwendo and Biso, have raised concerns over their forced removal from over 7 square miles of land, denying them access to benefit from the nearby oil fields.
The issue traces back to February 1st, 2003, when President Museveni asked the residents of Boma Wantembo to give land for establishment of the UPDF Marine Barracks, which they did, receiving a token of appreciation of 550,000 Ugandan shillings per household.
And the president was thankful and gave a casimo to each family. The amount has been indicated there. Now, the next thing was for these people to get titles on their land. What has happened? Strange people came and instead got titles. In the process of seeing the Chief Justice on many other things required in cases of land, what we say, we shall see him so that he constitutes a special session for Bulisa in particular this land, so that they can be dealt with and cleaned out of the judicial system.
However, after the discovery of oil in the Albertine Graben in 2010, tensions escalated as wealthy individuals, allegedly in collaboration with military and court officials, began evicting residents to claim the land.
Many vulnerable people, poor people, for over 10 years have been deprived, denied their lands through threats, intimidation, as you have heard, scare, and often taken to the courts of law.
Key military figures and a businessman, Kawa Francis, have been accused of the alleged abuse of their power to intimidate, imprison, and evict the locals.
To be evicted from our own land.
The residents have sought help from government officials, including State Minister for Lands, Dr. Sam Mayanja, who ordered the arrest of Gisoro Gonjeza Hannington and initiated a search for those involved in these illegal activities.
Yes, sio Gisoro. Kakati dipi so msajja no mukwati. The titles which Kawa got are all a nullity. Therefore, by law, they are cancelled. And I said that I'm going to follow it by letter, and there are others apart from Kawa. All those titles, by law, they stand cancelled. In the course of that eviction, he's threatening violence. Number 3, in the course of that, he has forced himself on their land, forceful entry. Trespass, he has spoiled their property. That's malicious damage. So all these charges are available. So they let him be arrested.
Local leaders, including Chakumanyi Deo and District Vice Chairman Gilbert Tivasanga, have called for thorough investigations and protections of the residents' rights.
That in handling this matter, we actually scrutinize each piece of each transaction by transaction.
Senior Presidential Advisor Fiona Barungi has reassured the community that the matter will be reported to the president.
Through the tears that I have seen these old women and men cry. Arrested.
The situation remains tense, with ongoing investigations and a call for justice against the accused parties.
You used to tell me that I don't make you happy. All that time you would be complaining. I'll call you every day, yeah yo, baby don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100*21# and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Once upon a time, there lived identical twins who gave birth to beautiful princes and princesses.
Their mothers gave their babies' bodies a lot of care by applying on their skin with baby Junior jelly.
So dried their chariots and everyone would admire their glowing skin. Fun fact, baby Junior prevents diaper rash, dry and sensitive skin.
Moms all over Africa love baby Junior jelly. Baby Junior the skin, no more worries anymore. Boo, 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 boo. Baby Junior.
Baby Junior.
It's true what people say, that when I wash and you wash your hands with soap, we'll have less infections as Ugandans. After all, it's hands that handle money. It's hands that feed us. Hands that prepare soil for farming. Hands that we use to learn. And hands that we use for fun.
When I wash and you wash, it means clean hands for all. So, wash your hands with soap and clean water regularly to keep away infections and disease-causing germs. This message is from the National Hand Washing Secretariat with support from UNICEF.
Uganda, are you ready to kick things up to the next level? The Uganda National Lottery brings you Sports Stake 10. Predict the results of 10 football games and win big. With tickets at only 500 shillings, join the fun and make your predictions count with Sports Stake 10. Sports Stake 10, your ticket to football glory.
Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
Where does it come from? That thing that makes us Ugandan. Some say it's in our history, in our culture, and in our hearts, in our warm smiles and vast miles of coffee. It's in our inherent pursuit to always be better, to never stop growing and glowing. We are a nation of sweat and skills, a nation of ideas and inventions. But what truly makes us Ugandan is our quest to invest in agro-business, manufacturing, tourism, infrastructure, health and education to improve the quality of life of Ugandans. That's what makes us Uganda Development Bank. Uganda Development Bank, inspiring development.
Welcome back from that short break, and of course thank you so much for keeping it with us. Now, in business, 60 indigenous small and medium enterprises have graduated from the Enterprise Development Program implemented by Uganda Development Bank, UDB, alongside partners such as Uganda National Bureau of Standards and Uganda Revenue Authority. The 3-month program is designed to foster business growth and enhance investment readiness through an incubator model.
The diverse group of indigenous small and medium enterprises has spent the past 3 months undergoing comprehensive training on management best practices, good governance, record keeping and financial management.
So when you go through this program, you are already de-risking your business, already reducing the risk, because all these issues of not knowing how to manage, having systems, etc. are risk factors. That is why you hear everyone say SMEs are risky. But then, whose role is it to support them? SMEs need information, you need to show them how to do it, and that is the gap that we have come to fill in. Now, out of here we are looking at a lot of impact.
The Enterprise Development Program's main objective is to train, support and incubate carefully selected private businesses, enhancing their readiness for credit facilities from the bank and other financial institutions.
Besides knowledge, it has helped us be exposed to so many opportunities. First of all, personal growth. We've made friends. We've come together as a family, and out of that family, we formed Pamoja Visionary Entrepreneurs Cooperative.
Speaking at the graduation ceremony in Kampala, Colonel Edith Nakalema, the head of State House Investors Protection Unit, underscored the vital role of the private sector, particularly the small and medium enterprises, in driving the economy.
It is encouraging to see that this event involves several enterprises, including women who are exhibiting products that demonstrate government's value addition, clean call for domestic investors. And once again, it's a joy for us under State House Investors Protection Unit, but also allow me to tell you that His Excellency the President instructs us on a daily to ensure that every Ugandan that is adding value, right from a woman that sells tomatoes on the road and those that have stores in markets, are protected, are supported, and are well guided by those of you that are empowered with knowledge.
She urged the beneficiary enterprises to leverage on the knowledge and skills attained to navigate market complexities and attract the investment necessary for their growth and sustainability.
The fundamental aspect of this intervention is the focus on devising smarter approaches which put businesses in good stead to bolster their capacity to thrive and have a meaningful contribution to national growth.
According to the project implementers, this initiative lays a robust foundation for the success of indigenous enterprises by fostering investment readiness through a structured incubator model. Dennis Igoa and Juman Samba for UBC News.
Uganda fire! Endiva fire! Our border fire! Uganda! Thank you for showing your fire! Has Nambole Stadium opened its doors once again? Fire! Fire! You are one movie, you were the 12th player. When Uganda Cranes needed you the most. Fire! Let the border! Fire! Through our famous wins and our unlucky losses, you stood firm, supporting even louder! Fire! Fire! Now, as Uganda Cranes take on South Africa and Congo this September, South Sudan in October, and play our second legs against South Africa and Congo in November, bring even more fire! Because with your support, Uganda Cranes is unstoppable! Uganda Fire! Proudly brought to you by MTN, the #1 supporter of Uganda Cranes. Together, we are unstoppable.
And into the world of sports, for the first time ever, speed skating is happening in Uganda. On Saturday, the Entebbe City Rollers Club will host the first ever speed skating marathon, as we hear more in this report.
Entebbe City Rollers has launched preparations of the very first skate marathon in Uganda called the Entebbe Speed Skating Marathon that will take place in various parts of Entebbe this Saturday, 10th August. The spokesperson of the club says over 150 participants are to participate in these competitions that are set to happen annually. We have 18 clubs ready to participate this weekend that include our neighbors Kenya, Rwanda, Congo and Burundi. The captain of the City Rollers, who is also the captain of the national team, has stated that his teammates are ready to embrace the competition. We are very ready and looking forward to this competition. Our aim is to ensure that we are victorious in our home country. The General Secretary of Uganda Skating Federation has encouraged women to actively engage in skate competitions within the near future.
We are calling upon all ladies and all the young people out there who are capable of competing in speed skating. This sport has no age limit and it starts from 3 years of age.
Some of the participants have been cited chanting victory for the competition. We have done everything possible to ensure that we do the best that we can and win in Uganda. Winners are to walk away with lots of prizes including cash and medals. Mashamiro Victor, UBC News.
Well, thank you very much there, Mashamiro. Now, Premier League champions Manchester City will take on FA Cup winners Manchester United this Saturday at Wembley Stadium as both teams aim to begin their 2024-2025 football season on a high.
Everyone expected it to be City's day, but it's Manchester United's day at Wembley.
The FA Community Shield is the traditional curtain raiser for football in England. This match happens before the start of the Premier League campaign. This time around, it will be a Manchester Derby affair at Wembley Stadium this Saturday.
To give Manchester United the lead in the cup final.
Manchester United surprised their local rivals with a 2-1 victory in the FA Cup final less than 2 months ago.
United in the mood again here. Bruno for Mainu for 2-0. It is just remarkable.
Now they have a chance to make a double upset against a weakened City side that will miss most of their key players.
Try to give them the best rest as possible, as much as possible. We would like to give them more time, but it's what it is. But we get them a lot, so all the players came back, and England players and Rodri will come back next week.
During a team meeting this week, United manager Erik ten Hag emphasized that it is vital for the players to replicate the form they displayed in the FA Cup final.
We always want to win. Also in all the friendlies, and it's about the trophy, yeah. And so we will put out a team that is very competitive to win this trophy. But yeah, it's also pre-season, and yeah, we don't go into big risks with players. That's also, I think, normal approach into this game.
Mashamiro Victor, UBC News.
Well, that's all we had time for. Thank you so much for sticking it with us. We will be joining you once again at 10 o'clock. My name is Patricia Lukoma. Stay with us.
UBC